Hello, everyone. My name is Iram Arroyo. Thank you for attending this first panel called Curriculum for Global Citizenship Post-COVID of the International Forum and Expo for Academic Collaboration 2020. It is necessary to thank the panelists, students, all those who listen to us, and all the instructions accompany us through WebEx and Facebook Live. Here we will allow ourselves to listen to three of the most important specialists in the field. Their most interesting biography and CV makes them inescapable reference for sure. The format of the panel will be as follows. First, all of the panelists will deliver their presentation, thus being able to listen to them for 10 minutes on the subject they are going to offer to us. Finally, we will move on to the question and answer session, and we thank the audience in advance for expressing their questions at the end of the presentations in the chat, indicating who the questions are for. First, we would like to thank Nadia Alvarez Mejia. Nadia Alvarez is a director of Mexico programs for Arizona Global, a faculty affiliate in the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Sociocultural Studies Global Affairs in the University of Arizona. Nadia Alvarez was born and raised in Mexico. She has an interdisciplinary background with Information Systems Bachelor and Master's degrees from Instituto Tecnológico y de Estudios Superiores de Monterrey, and her PhD in Teaching and Teacher Education with a minor in Language, Reading, and Culture from the University of Arizona. She is a recipient of the Erasmus Circle Award, one of the highest honors from the University of Arizona's College of Education. Currently, Nadia is the Director of Mexico Programs at the UA in the UA Global Office. In the last 12 years, Nadia has brought international students to the University of Arizona to conduct research, improve English proficiency, and learn about the academic culture in the United States, laying a strong background for graduate level study. She has also developed short-term programs for first-generation college, Native Indigenous, women in STEM, pre-service, and in-service teachers, and domestic students in the US and Mexico. Nadia's research programs have been awarded by the UA with the Peter W. Leakings Inclusive Award on the staff category in 2007, NAFTA with the Senator Paul Simon Spotlight Award in 2012, CONICET with the Chilia Grant in 2014, IIE with the Science Without Borders grant from Brazil from 2014 to 2016, and cost-gifted program in 2018. Her work and vision have been recognized with the Edith Seri Oslander Established Visionary Award 2018 and the Human Relations Commission of the City of Tucson Recognition 2018. She has a faculty affiliate position in the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Sociocultural Studies in the U.S. College of Education and is one of the Hispanic Serving Institutions 2019, first cohort. Before joining the UA, Nadia worked for a decade in Mexico's higher education system as a professor, mentor, and administration with the Instituto Tecnológico y de Estudios Superiores de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey, and Mazatlán, and other higher education institutions. Okay, with Nadia's CV in mind, please let's give way to her very interesting presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the introduction. I'm gonna do my best to trying to organize my presentation using what I prepared. Many times technology doesn't work the way that we are expecting, so I'm gonna try to do my best. So last week, I was sitting on my desk working from home when my youngest son, 9 years old, interrupted and asked for help. I left my professional role and agenda behind to be an assistant teacher, a scene that is getting more common and part of our daily life for many of us who are parents and work at the same time. Combine both roles, it's not new for me. I was a mom of 2 years and a half when I started my doctoral degree. I was 8 months pregnant when I was presenting my dissertation. Also combining different roles and atmospheres from home to work and vice versa was part of my journey. This pandemic has extremely changed everything. For many of us, our different roles are mixed and coexist under the same roof. Time flies faster than ever. When I was helping my little son with his assignment, I was surprised about the lecture content. It was a short lecture about a young scholar who was willing to apply for a job and move to another country. My son, a fourth grader, should answer questions related with the impact of this mobility experience in this person's life. When I was helping my son, and here is when I'm trying to share a video with you. When I was helping my son, I was also thinking about this presentation and the curriculum for global citizenship post COVID-19. As a pedagogical educator, I set and conceptualize all initiatives and programs, curriculum that I have developed in educational ecosystem. There is no justification to separate any single piece existing in this ecosystem. To really understand in a broader and deeper perspective the interactions, role, responsibilities between students, administrators, professors, researchers, policymakers, etc., and how all these single subjects are developed, linked, and interact with others. Since COVID-19 was spread around the world, we have read, learned, discussed, and heard about how this virus has disrupted economy, business, public health, environment, society, education, and other sectors. It is also no need to say that before pandemic, the local, national, and global society was facing other types of crises, such as poverty, access to education, violence, gender, color, sexual preference, discrimination, etc. However, in nowadays, all the globe is turned to a common crisis that is affecting the local and worldwide range. In other words, we are sharing the same problem. More than ever, local and international agendas are overlapping and sharing the same challenges. COVID-19 also shows us the vulnerability of educational systems, including those in first-class countries, where immigrants, refugees, minorities, indigenous, native, women, children, young scholars, and other populations are facing the lack of basic service such as water, electricity, food security, health, education, including internet access. Again, this vulnerability in populations such as the ones that I have mentioned, it is not a new reality. It has existed for centuries. This human vulnerability is perpetuated for system of oppressions, but COVID-19 has took away the fragile shadow that was hiding this human reality. In 2019, UNESCO described global citizen education as to empower learners of all ages to assume active roles, both locally and globally, in building more peaceful, tolerant, inclusive, and secure societies. UNESCO also based this type of education on the three domains of learning: cognitive, social emotional, and behavioral. However, as soon as this pandemic was moving around the globe, fear appears, and global citizen education, its definition, goals, and agenda were ignored in practice. Through my experience as an educator working in international education, with main focus on developing short-term programs and based on my practical expertise, I convinced that the curriculum should be dynamic. This dynamic is based on the student's population, context, current realities, educational systems, academic goals, including other characteristics such as professor profile, institutional administrators or administration, current immigration policies, and more. COVID-19 is demanding to rethink about global citizenship, its conceptualization and curriculum development. This educational reflection should be a constant exercise for those who are coordinating, working, and overseeing international education. All sectors are lean hard to be resilient and face this crisis. Education is no exception. How my son's homework is related with the content of this presentation? Well, we cannot think about global citizenship if we don't have the opportunity to reflect about our own experiences, identity, reality, and journey. Who do I represent in this context? We can just start situating ourselves in our neighborhood, our local community. We cannot think about global citizenship if, as a higher education institutions, we are not able to identify those academic efforts that our professors are conducting and designing for years, for decades, and those efforts work. Do we give us a chance to learn from local talent? How many times do we bring a model that is effective in other institutions? We pretend to adapt it and doesn't work. Many times we are looking in other institutions to respond to our local needs. COVID-19 is also an opportunity to reinvent our institutions, but assimilation is not the answer to all our concerns. Let's start to conduct an internal analysis about how we are conducting our international and local agenda. We are considering our students, faculty, administrators, and other subjects to build a real academic community to really understand which international experience, virtual and in person, are crucial, relevant, and assist to create significant learning teaching process. Global citizenship and its curriculum post-COVID-19 requires the conscious recognition of our pre-realities. Inclusion, diversity, equity, and equality cannot be only concepts and phrases highlighted in our institutional mission, websites, and communities. Many researchers and educators see global citizenship education as idealistic and romantic pathway to conduct education. However, the practice of pedagogy recalls the need to create, nourish, and reshape educational ecosystems where all subjects are interacting with a specific role and significant interconnectivity. Yes, I was familiar on having and combine my roles as a mom and professional, but COVID-19 is stimulating my brain to rethink about my actions, myself, and the co-responsibility with others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nadia. Such an interesting presentation. Certainly, I have lots of questions to ask, but I'm sure the audience will have lots of them. So let's give lots of thanks to you. I'm sure we will be able to deliver them, the questions, at the end of the panel, the question and answer session. Thank you very much, Nadia. Now, let's give way to Nuri Diana Contreras Espinosa. Nuri Diana is a coordinator of a program to empowerment the students inside the industry called Horizon of Opportunities inside the team of support for the educational development in Guanajuato University. She received a master's degree from Universidad del Valle in Mexico, in education by professional skills. Was an academic from Tecnológico Nacional de Mexico and coordinator of tutoring program for 4 years. Please, now let's give way to Nuri Diana's presentation. Thank you very much, Nuri.
Thank you everyone for having me here. I'm grateful to share this time and acknowledgement with you guys. So let me share my presentation. Okay. So I'm gonna start with a little introduction. The acknowledgement to people as part of human group is established on their own nature. Education and intervention is necessary to promote it from the early phases of training and persistence at all the educational levels. Education for global citizens in training of lifelong from formal and informal strategies, academic programs, or different participation competences pretend to students be able to understand international rights and responsibilities, global issues, and to interact with those issues that could happen in the local area. What is going on around the world citizenship? The education for the world citizen is expressed in three attributes concurred in the educational model of the University of Guanajuato and educational programs. One of them is updating and critical spiritualism. Young people understand the world, governing system, and issues related with environment, economical, and social development with ability to find information that allows to take action in measures with social responsibility actions. The second one, socially linked and being respectful of diversity. Young people understand different cultural identities and at the same time identify shared values, which allows them to figure out the global dimension of citizenship. And the third one, ethically responsible and be committed. Young people review their own beliefs and values. They commit, they contribute in the solution of social justice issues from local to global, address ethic topics like climate change, responsible human consumption, fair trade, migration, sustainable development, and now how the University of Guanajuato address to the global citizenship in education. Education for world citizenship is manifested in academic and cultural extension programs that are the bridge to approach the different cultural manifestations, both local, national, or international. As a subject, along the graduation profiles of all the educational programs at the undergraduate level and specific programs as a subject that is included in the curricular networks to reinforce the attributes for citizenship, internationalization, and interculturality. To promote education from citizenship, University of Guanajuato has some strategies that I will to present some of them below. I'm going to start with scholarship to the right side. So scholarship through the economic support and scholarship to address the educational backlog due to the economic situation, giving continuity to the academic development of all the students, University of Guanajuato helps students with some scholarships like economic equity, attracting outstanding students, regional equity, academic excellence, and among others. The emerging support fund considers benefit around 500 students. Another one is loan of computer equipment. Support is given to those students who live far away from internet connectivity and of course campuses and who don't have a keyboard tool such as a laptop or tablet. The university considers to loan of computer equipment warranting almost 200 laptops and 500 tablets. Equipment to help health students. It's important to mention in this health emergency, those health students who were in direct contact with COVID-19 patients were supported with the necessary equipment to help and protect their physical and health integrity, such as goggles, masks, and biological protection suits, and of course, among others. Social services for educational care of children during the pandemic. As part of the commitment and responsibility to the society, the University of Guanajuato, through the Department of Equality and Social Responsibility, students participate in the emerging program of social services and volunteer to serve the students' population at the elementary and high school level, to develop solutions to problems bringing on because the pandemic COVID-19 developing educational podcasts, virtual training sessions, advice and tutoring. Mediation and conciliation, the university performs preventive and proactive activities with students through training, services, and intervention to address conflicts and disputes. equality and social co-responsibility management. The social inclusion program of the University of Guanajuato implements orientation and accompanying action for people with disabilities before, during, and at the end of the virtual classes with the Mexican Sign Language interpretation and video transcriptions. Defense of human rights in the university environment. The University of Guanajuato is a pioneer together with the UNAM in the creation of the University Ombudsman, develops activities and workshops related of human rights. Promotion, internationalization, interculturality, and cultural dialogue. Academic exchange will take place with more than 200 agreements with national and international institutions. The university addresses workshops on interculturality and professional residences like the summer research program. And governance for decision-making to address the impact of the pandemic. Online education mechanisms emergent to become permanent and efficient action with the help of technologies and home office, improving university management and reducing process and responses times. Some startup projects on the university is mentoring students of the university, support children of elementary level who live in colonies with economic difficulties in school topics. Some of student-to-student tutoring, support between upper semester students with the first semester students through online counseling and to student skills. Another one, psychological support during the pandemic. Social and humanistic intervention was established to attend psycho-emotional and psychosocial affection of the population of Guanajuato state because of the isolation caused the COVID-19 pandemic. With the goal of providing guidance and psychological intervention, support was made by chat or telephone call for free. Also, had the support of the civil association with a program called Smile With Me, serving around 600 people. The next, adaptability and agreement, guiding at the high school community to support the continuing of their academic career, addressing problems of internet connectivity, straighten evaluation program through demonstration, simulation, and tutorial support. Dialogue with the community, with support for teachers to teach and at distance with the digital platforms and media, even for those who never use a digital media for teaching. The program was generated to transform the classroom into a virtual mode methodology without changing the curriculum. The university saw the contingency while maintaining the quality of education, respecting the principles of inclusion, quantity, and respect for human rights, and of course, be ethic responsible. We have some challenge. The first one is to share some solution with interdisciplinary contribution to address the consequences of the pandemic and social economic issues. Share scientific and technological work to diffuse the investigation in research networks that help to promote the impacts of discoveries. Assume that after the pandemic, a change will emerge. The university should be part of these initiatives to address new behaviors and practices to the society. Support collaborative works and projects applied to social needs, and reinforce education in dialogue, communication, collaborative work, ethical decision-making, conflict management, and to empower citizens and allows sustainability. Because the pandemic made it possible to access the laboratories and practice centers, it is so important to create updating courses to continue from where we are. And to the end, with this topic, the pandemic showed the great distance of the inclusion among students, and it's necessary to pay attention to the vulnerability of the university community regarding the technological gap, access to a specific software, having teachers trained in use of technological tools, and the ability of support materials that reinforce their learning. The University of Guanajuato is clear about the challenge and uncertainties it will have to face in the coming years. Thank you a lot for your time.
Thank you very much, Nuri. It's such an interesting topic how the University of Guanajuato is supporting students on this pandemic. Thank you very much. I'm sure we're going to listen to lots of questions to your presentation. Let's move on. Would like to remember to the audience, to the attendants, that we're gonna be able to read to your questions. They're going to be read at the end of the presentation. Me personally would like to say that I would take advantage of these three very nice presentators. So thank you very much, Nuri. Let's move on to Luisa Fernanda. We would like to her to thank you her very much. Luisa currently serves as an internationalization advisor at SENA. She studied translation, linguistics, and cultural studies at the Johannes Gutenberg Universität Mainz in Germany. She also holds a master's degree in linguistics from the Universidad de Antioquia in Colombia and a Master of Arts in teaching German as a foreign language from the Pedagogical University of Freiburg in Germany. She served as a German teacher at Universidad del Atlántico and later as an internationalization advisor at the international office of his institution. Then she held the position of head of the international office of the same university. After this, she served as an internationalization advisor at the Office for International Cooperation at the Colombian Ministry of Education. During her professional development as a linguistic and a specialist in the internationalization of higher education, she has been a scholarship holder at several opportunities. DAAD scholarship for an academic exchange as a part of her master's in 2012, scholarship of the Pedagogical University of Freiburg in 2013 for the presentation of the linguistic project Forms of Treatment in Different Cultures at the Voronezh State University in Russia, and the scholarship for the course management of internationalization, awarded by the DAAD in 2014, which has been finished in November 2015. Mashab scholarship holder for the course Pedagogies in the 21st Century in 2016. In 2020, she undergoes a course on science diplomacy in India, thanks to a scholarship granted by the Indian government. Okay, with all this in mind, please give thanks for Luisa's presentation. So we will move on to her presentation. Thank you very much, Luisa. We're ready to listen to you.
So I'm going to share my presentation now.
Yes, thank you very much.
So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about my institution, which is called the National Training Service. We train for work in Colombia, and we are attached to the Colombian Ministry of Labor. And we also offer some studies that are related to higher education in Colombia, which are the technological programs. The 2-year programs are higher education programs in Colombia. Each year, Colombia allocates $1 billion of its overall budget to the vocational training strategy implemented by SENA, by my institution. The institution is more than 60 years old. We have many types of training. I am going to focus now in 3 types of training. We have a certified training, which are the technical, the technological, and specialized training. The technical programs are 1-year programs. The technological programs are 2-year programs. And the specialized training, usually like 1 year, sort of. And these trainings are developed in order to foster the human resources in Colombia for the companies, for the productive sector. We have also a complementary training. We can say that SENA is maybe the most important institution in lifelong learning in Colombia. All of our trainings are for free for Colombians. In the complementary trainings, we offer for 40 to 400 hours trainings. And the focus of these trainings are to foster the knowledge in some technical areas. We also have dual trainings with companies where our students go some hours to the companies and some hours to the SENA centers. So how do we foster this global citizenship? We foster the global citizenship with the knowledge that we want to really build professionals that are that can work in these globalized environments and globalized world where we are living now. So for us, the most important thing is to generate and to improve the graduate profile with extracurriculum actions that we're going to see right now, because as Dr. Nadia said, we also see the curriculum as something which is quite dynamic, and we don't see us like changing curriculum for international activities when we know that international activities are really quite dynamic, that the productive sectors are also really quite dynamic, and that we have seen that the curriculums as we know them are quite rigid and we cannot change them. So we foster international activities through extracurriculum activities that add value to our students through certifications, to diplomas, extra diplomas that we're going to see them right now. We also offer other activities such as virtual mobility, and we also organize strategic alliances with international industry, universities, and governments to do all this stuff that I am telling you right now. So through this pandemic, we have seen that we cannot do all the stuff that we were doing in the SENA centers, the internationalization activities and the mobility activities. We have seen that we cannot do them because we cannot enter our SENA centers. That's the reality. So that's why we designed a virtual internationalization at home activities that I'm going to explain you right now. These activities are co-curricular training opportunities focused on the educational and professional growth of the SENA community through strategic alliances with international cooperators. Right now, I am going to focus just in the activities for students. We also have activities for teachers and for staff. And how was this strategy for students created? So we did a mobility study by the beginning of this year, and then we also did some focus groups with SENA students. With this input, we created the strategy, and we also are evaluating permanently all the activities that we do. So we can say that this is like a cycle, because we are always evaluating, and by the end of this year, we plan also to do more focus groups. So this is a research-based strategy. So what do we do for SENA students? So we do hackathons. We love hackathons because hackathons are a way to solve not only the problems from the productive sectors, but also the problems of the world. No, and we have also boot camps. What are boot camps? Boot camps are special trainings to deepen the knowledge in some areas that we choose. We have also a series of webinars, language exchanges, research internships, international courses, certifications from industry. All these types of activities are virtual activities. So What are our students learning? To work in intercultural environments, skills for employability, technical skills, and global citizenship. As we have told at the beginning, we are attached to the Ministry of Labor, so the most important thing is that we give our students the tools that they need in order to get a job or be an entrepreneur in Colombia. So our international curriculum activities are developed with a disciplinary and technical focus. Okay, there are some activities such as the hackathons, where we have some interdisciplinary approach, which is very important for us also. But I have to tell you, for us, it is also very important that we design international curriculum activities for disciplines, for technical background. So that's also something important to say, because we have seen in the last months and years that the people keep talking about interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity, which is also important, but to have activities also for the disciplines is also important, and it is important to say that. As we said, we want to improve the profile of our future graduates with skills that we have identified that are important for the labor market. These training opportunities, which are meaningful, want to empower the students not only at the technical, but also at the soft skills level. Here are some examples. This one here with the rosa color was a bootcamp, which is right now being done in Colombia. It is called Mujeres Digitales. That's something for women, where we want to train them in some digital skills in order to close that gap that we have between the genders at the technical level, in some areas that we have identified with our partners that are important, such as JavaScript and other forms of, of these actions, to have this digital knowledge. We have also webinars with Google, when you have got all the activities. If you attended all the activities, you can get like a certification. We also have this training with SAP, in some areas which are also important for the digital market. So as you can see, we're trying to give our students the tools so that they can be very good professionals, and from their professions, there can also be a global citizen. So this is my contact. You can contact me wherever you want, and this is also my Twitter. So I am also very interested about the questions that we're going to get right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luisa Fernanda. Such an interesting presentation you have brought upon us. Well, it's with great pleasure that we have heard the interesting topic you presented to us. Okay, I have a couple of questions now. Nuri, there's some. This question has been brought through the panel. I would like to ask you, what are the University of Guanajuato strategies to support students in reaching efficient bandwidth? It is important to perform in an adequate way by the academic duties, both those for the adapted local programs and for international courses. What do you think? Well, the main question, I think, it's about the whole question is how to support in reaching efficient bandwidth. For example, there are lots of problems nowadays. Since the University of Guanajuato attends all the region, I think it's important to consider the lack and deficiencies in internet connection for some students. How does the University of Guanajuato supports these students?
Thank you. Yeah, I was reading some of the questions. Yeah, it is so difficult to reach the students who live so far away from campuses. And some little towns that they don't have internet connectivity. So as a university, we lend some equipment, some computers and tablets from those students who lives for so far away from the campuses. So in the curriculum, that from the teachers, they know that the connectivity is so difficult. So we ask to the teachers to be patient with the students, to be patient with the activities that they give to the students. So yeah, and some other students, for example, have a little spaces that the government give them to have the internet connection. So it was so difficult, as I said, to reach those students because it's difficult from because some of them doesn't have enough economic support. So for the university is most of the activities is to be patient with them, to, to, to the students and to the teachers, because as I say, some of the teachers doesn't have the knowledge to use the internet and uh, the internet tools to teach. So we are training to those teachers to have a bigger experience to the students.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nuri, for your presentation. I had a follow-up of question. One of the attributes in the model at the University of Guanajuato that you presented. Could you clarify what is meant by critical spiritualism? I'm very interested in all three attributes on how they are provided for or developed. For example, what are the activities or curriculum that you use to cultivate and develop ethically responsible behavior? This is a question from Todd Fletcher. Are these infused into different classes, and are there service learning components that provide opportunities to develop attitudes, skills, and behaviors that are ethically responsible and respectful of the diversity?
Thank you. Because the curriculum says we have to attend the values um, in every class that we have with the students. We try to demonstrate to the students through the volunteer support that some students go to the little towns to help those students, little students like, I don't know, kids or 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 young students like more than them. These students are helping to the little ones to, for example, to topics like math, like science, like grammatic, Spanish grammatic, and we try to reflect to the students, to the alumni. We try to reflect the values from the university and always being respect, always being um, working with human rights. And the most important I think the most important thing that the university is doing for the students is respect human rights and transmit the values for students. We are teaching with the example, like we said. Please, clear.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. It's actually a way in which the University of Guanajuato gives way to attend to support all the students that actually have deficiencies in their way of living, in their way of communicating, and and interacting with all the society in the region due to this pandemic. Thank you very much for interesting question. I have a couple of questions for Nadia. Nadia, in your opinion, what are the most important deficiencies that have been highlighted of higher education due to COVID? I mean, there are lots of things that are supposed to be attended. I mean, by the university in different schemes. For students particularly, what are the most important deficiencies that have been highlighted in your opinion of higher education? And just a small one, how is the degree of internationalization in your opinion really measured? Is it correct to measure it based on the mobility of the students?
Those are really good questions. I'm going first for the last one and then for the first one. So for the last one, as I say, um, my background is in engineer and information technologies, but my PhD is what we define in Mexico and Latin America pedagogy. So as a pedagogical educator, I don't believe in terms of, I know numbers are important, but for me is to hear the students' voices and learn about the impact that any single, even 1 or 2 days of experience in move, not only move physically, but also move in this virtual context, what is the impact that those students are receiving through that experience? And very important, not only in their professional skills, but also in their social skills and their personal skills. That's the way that I always conceptualize the programs that I've been develop. Like the program that is pretty similar to my colleague Luisa Echeverria about women in STEM. That program, I partnered with a sponsor in Mexico. And the first model that they asked me to develop was what I call traditional model. Train the students, organize a competition, and prize the best team. Coming for the STEM field, I know all the struggles that women face, including underrepresentation. So I was able to design a program that it was more in the spirit to stimulate these students in creating networkings and learn how they can support each other. Because many times that we talk about students, we refer about students about the future. For me, as a pedagogical educator, students are not the future, students are the present. And if we are not offering this experience to these students in their present, we're going to lose a lot of opportunities to create a strong capacity. For the first question, could you just remind me the first question? I don't want to answer in the wrong way.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, the question is, what are the most important deficiencies that have been highlighted by COVID in higher education due to this pandemic and social interaction restrictions?
Yes, good question too. So again, I think that institutions, many times we have the desire to propose solutions and we forgot to hear the voices of those that are struggle or those that there are what I say in the field. So I think one of the things and the big mistakes is the institutions we are not stopping to hear and creating safe space to hear the voices and concerns of the students. Also, many of those students, including domestic and international, as I mentioned, they've been having and facing pre-realities before COVID. I always refer that each individual, we have our own backpack, and we are filling that backpack with our professional and personal experience. Just imagine a student that they've been facing situations, including maybe mental issues before pandemic, and we are more worried about to create these institutional strategies more than hear the student voices. Second, and I mentioned in my presentation, professors. Professors are the ones that they're in the classroom. Professors are the ones that they're in the field. when I develop the short-term programs, even I have an ideas in terms of curriculum development as a pedagogical educator, I don't have all the expertise. And I always partner with other college on campus or outside campus that they have other expertise that they can fit my expertise and we can have a broader perspective. Because even we work in the education field, we don't have all the solutions. Many times those solutions are coming from students and are coming, as I mentioned before, for those that are in the field. So I think, those institutions that and I understand we have policymakers, we have people that they need to analyze those policies, we have administrations, but also I think, and that's my 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 vision for international education. It's time for us to see our office not as a administration and transactions office. We need to see our office with this academic component. And my colleagues are giving example about that, how we are visualize higher education and internationalization in a more academic perspective. So if that is that perspective, the voices of students and professors are important here to bring it on the table. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nadia. It's such an interesting way in which you highlight the situation that students and have their own issues from now and from the future and the past that have need to be considered. Thank you very much. I'm sure we're gonna be in touch from now on with lots of questions arising from the audience. I have lots of them. Actually, the time is really short, so. I must we give way to Luisa Echeverria. A question for Luisa Echeverria. Let's Luisa. The audience asks, in matters of time to respond to the situation, when did you start the strategy to move to virtual mobility? How difficult has this change be to respond to this situation?
Okay, and can you hear me now? Yes?
Yes, we can hear you, Luisa.
We have started to design the virtual activities. It is important to say that you have seen that most of them are virtual training activities, which is different to virtual mobility activities. Okay, it is important to separate them. The virtual training activities, we have started with this strategy by late April. We can say that we did the research and everything between March and April, and we have done so far many activities with our partners, because we have already planned so like other activities, and what we have done is just to change the methodology and to do them virtually. We also have other challenges because, as my colleagues have said, we are in whole Colombia, and we have also rural areas of Colombia where we cannot, where the people don't have like really good internet access, and some of our students cannot get online. But for us, it has been a really important change, because we had an impact which was really limited to presence activities, and now we have a huge impact in the whole Colombia. So for us, it has been very important.
Yes, such an interesting situation over there. Again, the concerns of connection and bandwidth. It's an issue again here. Thank you very much, Luisa. I have a last one from Norma Angelica Duarte. Norma Angelica, this is for you, Luisa. Again, how do you think we and the University of Guanajuato is to the students are to be motivated uh, uh, And do you have a strategy? Do you think that we can have a strategy for this? I mean, for all the students to motivate them to remain at the University of Guanajuato. Yes, Luisa.
It was
Yes.
okay about the University of Guanajuato. Okay.
Yes, yes. I mean, just the question goes for all the students in the yes, arising from all the issues. How do you think they are need to be motivated along with these issues? All of in your experience, how to keep them stuck and their attention to be kept along with all these situations, as Nadia suggested. There's lots of things from back and forth. What do you think?
Okay, I have to say that our students in Latin America face a lot of challenges. Some of them, we have to say, some of them don't have enough food. They have not good family conditions. So we have to work not only from the economical but also from the social level. And I think it is also important to close the gap between the university and what the labor market needs. I used to work some years ago at the university, and for me it was not so clear. But since I have been working in this institution, SENA, where we work so close with the companies, I have seen that this is really, really quite important, because that's the way that we can generate a value to our graduates and insert them in these labor markets, which are quite dynamic, and in this moment are really, we don't know what's going to happen. So I think it is important to give the students the tools to arise between other graduates, to because they have these technical competences that the labor market needs. Because if we don't give them the tools, if we don't add value to their profiles, I think we are failing as an institution. We have to add them value. We have to give them the certifications that the labor market needs, and also that they think and that they understand that it's important to learn throughout the whole life. It is because the certifications, okay, they're important right now, but I mean, in 10 years, maybe we have other stuff. So it is important for them that they keep training themselves in a very autonomous way and a very responsible way, because we cannot say, okay, it is the responsibility of Universidad de Guanajuato, or it is the responsibility of my employer to give me training. No, it is my responsibility as an individual, as a person, as a citizen, to build my own capacity. I think that's the most important idea that we can give our students to be global citizens.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I cannot agree with greater and much agreement with you. I couldn't be more agreeable with your opinion. Thank you very much. Such an interesting answer you have brought upon us. Now in this situation, we would like to ask Nuri along as well. Well, she's been in contact with the University of. I mean, she's been part of the tutoring program. I mean, she's been coordinating and it would be with great pleasure to hear her to answer along this question as well. I mean, the same question for her in terms of how do you Nuri think we should the University of Guanajuato should motivate students to have interaction with their classmates? What do you think? Do you have any strategy?
Yeah, I think we have three kind of strategies, three important strategies. The most important that I think we have is training teachers. We have the all semester we have some workshops to training teachers and of course training the students. We have teachers are now experience collaborative work through community of teaching practice. That's the first experience, the importance of collaboration, of learning themselves. The workshop is to know their own knowledges and how I can to diffuse or to transmit the knowledge to the students. And we have some training professor to reinforce strategies, as I say, and we have learning by project. The students work in teams as always, and to make a project. The teacher says, you know, you have to finish with your you have to finish with your team, and you have to reach the goal. So this is the project. You have these tools to do it. So are free to do whatever you want. I think this, and of course, always be responsible, because students work with the community. The project is for the community. So human rights, be respectful, have the values on themselves is of course the principal meaning.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nuri. Just a final question from the audience. What program is going to use Universidad de Guanajuato for virtual mobility? The question is, what is the program? I mean, the program that is going to be implemented by the Universidad de Guanajuato for going through virtual mobility. What do you think?
I think bilateral programs with partner institutions. We have some programs that we are implemented. There are so many. Yeah, I don't have now the specific program, but we have so many that we collaborate with an international institution. We have agreement with 200 institutions to work with, and yeah, some of them is marketing and business. Yeah, yeah. There is some programs that we have.
Yes, of course. I mean, there's lots of situations that are being brought upon the situation by the pandemic, by the University of Guanajuato. Of course, very complicated situation. Nuri, thank you very much for your nice information you brought upon us with by the University of Guanajuato. We have lots of questions, and but unfortunately the time gap does not allow us to go through all of them. But lots of them have been very interesting, and I think that we're going to be able to pass them through some other way, maybe email. I need to ask about that. But well, finally, I want to deeply thank our three panelists: Nadia Alvarez Mejia, Nuri, Diana Contreras Espinosa, and Luisa Fernanda Echeverria King, for their willingness to carry out this International Forum and Expo for Academic Collaboration 2020. Thank you very much, all you three. I also want to thank all those who have been listening and participating in this forum. Thank you all very much. We hope that this analysis and discussions that have been held will be of benefit to all. Thank you very much. Have an excellent day.